Hello world, I am Willie Mash, and in this video I'm going to show you how to make a 360 photo where you're inside of a default Blender scene. And so this is something that I shared on Facebook and I just want to recreate it for everybody. So first of all, I observed some things about the default scene, like these gizmos, that they seem to match the rotation of the camera. They always look the same. And I noticed that this grid, it's just kind of the distinctive colors and all that. Okay, so what I want to do is recreate these things in a cycles rendered view. So if I Control Z right now, you'll see the gizmos don't appear, right? So I'm going to recreate these things. So to do that, before I go to do the 360 view and all that, I'm going to use a snipping tool, and I'm just going to grab it like that, and then I'm going to save it. And I already did this, so I'm just going to put that there. And the snipping tool is built in the Windows. If you're on a Linux computer, I'm sure there's other things you can do for doing screenshots and stuff. I need to get the grid. So to get the grid, I just delete the cube in the middle and this light and the camera. I go to top-down mode and just throw the cursor off to the side. And then if you go into your property panel and for displays, click world background, change this to cycles. And under your world settings, just change this value to white. And then I used my snipping tool to also get this grid image. And this is important because that's how you get the color and all that. Okay. So anyways, when I got those two images, so I already have saved here, then I just open up a new Blender window. Okay. I'm going to keep the default cube in the middle. I actually can leave the camera, the light. I'm probably going to not use that, but I'll leave it because I'll need it for reference. Okay, so I'm going to take my camera and I'm going to change its location to 0, 0, 0. So it's right in the middle. And I'm going to change the rotation to default. Okay, and if I go into the wireframe, you'll see that's what the camera looks like. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to tab into my default cube and I'm going to scale these verts to 0. And go into side view and just bring the stuff together so it matches the camera. And I wasn't super careful with this, but I mean, I did zoom in quite a bit and just to try to make it look as accurate as I care to bother with. Okay. So then I just top-down mode, same thing. GUI, bring them in. GUI, bring them in. So I've created the shape of the camera in wireframe, right? Now this little plane here on the top, this little thing is just going to be a plane, a separate object. Okay, so to make this look better, because right now it's just a cube, like that doesn't look like a camera. You go under modifiers and you add a wireframe modifier, and then you can add a material. Let's change the cycles. Just add a black diffuse material, right? Just like that. And then when you go into material mode, wait, oh, I gotta tab out. Yeah, so you see it right there. That's what it looks like. And then this triangle portion here, I'm just gonna Alt or Shift C to bring my 3D cursor to the middle, and then Shift A, mesh plane, and then top down mode, tab into edit, turn on see-through, SX0, bring it in, just like that. Just like so. And then I'm going to go into object mode and just bring it right down into place above my camera. And then the final touch, in my outliner, I'm just going to parent. I'm going to rename some of these things. I'm going to call this sights. I don't really know what that thing's called, but I'm going to call it. It lets you know what side's the top of the camera and what's not, right? And then this camera, that's the real camera. This here is going to be my fake camera. And now I'm going to parent the sights to the fake camera. And so that way my fake camera is working. And the sights are going to need that same black diffuse material. See, so just like that, I've created a mock-up of a camera that is like kind of believable. Now you could play with the width of the wire frame modifier and all that, but I'm just going to leave that for now as where it is. Okay. This camera here, I'm just going to bring it out of the way because that's going to be my real camera. I need to open up another Blender scene because I want to recreate a default camera. So under the properties here, I'm just going to copy the X, Y, and Z coordinates of my thing. So I'm going to just save this first so that I can tell my windows apart. So X coordinate is 7.4811, and then Y coordinate 6.507, blah, blah, blah. Okay, and Z coordinate is 0, 0, 0. No, that's not it. Wrong camera. Here it is, 5.34. Here we go. So it puts it in the right location now, but it's not, the rotation's not right. So I gotta also put in the rotation from the default camera. So 63.6, and then 46.7 is the last one. I'm just gonna try to remember. There we go. So now we got our camera in the correct position. Another thing, well, oh yeah, I still got to work on the plane. Okay, so let's do the plane next. So to create this plane, I got my 3D cursor in the middle, and then I'm going to Shift A plane, and I think it's scaling times 8 will cover the whole grid with the default settings. Okay. Then I'm going to go into compositing, and where is everything? Outliner. Okay, so this plane is gonna become my fake grid. And I'm going to take my fake grid. There it is. All right. Just I've used the shortcut on the keyboard period to set me, into focus there. And then I'm going to change this to rendered. And you'll see right now it's this very, very blah, just kind of gray material. You see like the point light kind of illuminating that bit there. It just doesn't look good. It doesn't look anything like a grid, right? So we're going to do some material work. I'm going to add a material. And first thing I'm going to do is add a texture, image texture. And this is going to give us that grid that I saved. Plug that into that. And I think if I change this to material, I'll be able to see it a little better. So it's obviously not looking right. Okay. I'm going to use generated coordinates, I think, for this. So I'm going to go input, texture coordinate, and it's supposed to be the default thing, but if you don't hook it up, I don't know why, but it's not working. It doesn't show. So just got to hook it up there. Okay, so there's my grid. Now this doesn't look like the default grid, obviously, but notice that the color did come through very nice. So all I got to do now is get the transparency where it's white. And to do that, I need to change everything that's not white to black so that it doesn't mess with the color. And that's the little bit of node work that I had to do. So I'm just going to keep this diffuse node for now because I'm going to later add a mix shader with an emission and do all that. But right now, I'm just going to try to get this, adjust this so that it's just the black and white. So I'm going to add a color, let's do converter RGB to black white like this. See how this works. Okay, and what that does is it just, turns your green and red into just like a grayscale, okay? And That's actually really close to our final thing that we need. So next what I'm going to do is add a color RGB curves, and I'm just going to set this so that I get all black, right? Maybe it'll help me here if I change this so the grid doesn't appear, because that is possibly interfering with that. Okay, and what just to kind of show you what this is, if it's all black and you want just the white squares to show up, then maybe I need to start here and then start dropping out chunks of this until I get what I want. See, it's starting to come in, you see? And so this is how you get the mask made. Or this is how I decided to do it. You could probably do the same thing with the color ramp, and that might be better. But I just like to use curves for this. So that's what I did. So I did that, and then that looks really good. It looks like black and white, you know. Just looks good. If you were more cautious than me, you might like actually analyze those color values, but it looks good. Looks like it's black and white, so that looks good to me. And so that's going to drive the factor of our mix node. So I'm going to add a shader mix node. And if I hook this up to there, okay, and then just turn this all the way to there, you notice nothing really changes, and that's fine. I'm going to add a shader transparent, and you keep this white. You don't want it to be colored anything, and you plug that in there. And now what I should be able to do is plug this into there, and then color into there, and in fact, maybe I gotta go rendered. Oh, let's try this. When I did this last night, I realized I needed to use emission instead of diffuse. Oh, that's what it is. Okay. Derp-de-der. I'm trying to go from an image texture into the shader. That's new mistake, sorry. So I'm adding an emission shader instead, and then let's swap it around. I'm just having to troubleshoot a little bit. Okay. So let's say I wanted it to just glow. Maybe I need to invert it. It's possible. Okay. So white and black, right? So one is translucent, so that's the white, and then the black is going to be diffuse. So add shader, mix shader, go to here. Okay, this goes to here. Transparent is one of these. Okay. There we go. That's what I wanted. Oh my gosh. Okay. So what that's doing is it's only putting that white color. I think this looks good. Let me try the rendered mode. Can't even see. Maybe if I change this, let's just brighten up this scene because I can't even see it. So I don't know. I mean, it worked with the gray, but it's not working now with that. Add shader, emission shader. Maybe this is what I need to do. And then take that color into there. Okay, so now we got something. Okay, so the color's coming through, and now that my background is white, let's just make it black. And so this is not clear enough. that's my problem. Okay, so right now it's close, but because I'm using emission shaders and there's a little tiny bit of white there, it is messing up the effect. So I'm just gonna keep dropping out. I'm just noticing that it's just not doing what I want it to do at all. Let's just swap that around maybe. Maybe just get rid of the RGB curve node. See, that's how little that factor thing mattered. It just took it out and it didn't even do anything. Why am I doing that? Oh, duh. Oh, there we go. All right, I finished. I figured it out. Okay. All right, so that was a little bit of fiddling around. Sorry for being such a noob there. But I had my diffuse. I was using the diffuse shader to plug in a factor because I hadn't removed that. So, anyways, it's done. So this looks actually really good. And since it's a transparent thing here, I should be able to add a cube. And you see the cube is actually, you can see it through. So that's how I did the grid anyways. It was just a little bit of work in nodes, and doing that on camera, just, you know, it's a little hard. I'm going to go here and I'm going to rename this fake grid just so I don't get confused about what my materials are. Super excited about that. Looks good. Okay, I'm going to go back into object mode. Let's go materials, and that's done. Okay, so now I got the fake grid. I just need and I got the fake camera. I just need the fake light, and then I'm done. Okay, so do we still have that lamp there? Sure, we do. Right now it's, you can't even, I don't even see it. Oh, because I said only render. There we go. Now I get the widgets. Okay, so the thing about this widget is you zoom in, it looks, you can't see it changing at all. Okay, so it's not, what we need to do is try to emulate that. And to make sure it always faces the camera like a gizmo, I'm going to use an object constraint. And I think that's the only place where I really need it in this scene. Okay, so I'm just going to take my camera, and to make this easier for me, I'm going to place it, or this light, I mean, I'm going to place this at 0, 0, 2, or something like that. Maybe a little higher, 4. Okay, and I'm going to have to do a similar thing with the shaders here, because I'm going to want that same look. You know, I don't want it to really look ray traced, even though it is. So I'm going to use emission shaders. To go to the meeting you talked to me about yesterday? Yeah. People have just been going, but if you write on the thing, then it'll be good. Okay, so to make this, I'm going to add a plane. So Shift C, I think, to center my 3D cursor. I think it does that. And then Alt A, mesh plane. And then I'm going to RX90 to bring it upright. And then I'm going to bring it in front. I'm going to go into orthogonal perspective, and I'm going to shrink that until it's about the size of my light, right? And then I'm going to Control A, apply scale, just because I don't want that to be hanging over my head. And then I'm going to add a new material, and I'm going to go add texture, image texture, and bring in my light gizmo picture that I took. Plug that in. And right away, I mean, it looks wrong, but we're going to have to do more transparency stuff. So I'm going to add a color, or no, first I need to handle the coordinates. So bring in texture coordinates, generated, should be fine. And it looks pretty good, but see, this isn't transparent. So right now we're just matching the background, and that might be okay. But then when you go to do the ray tracing, I don't want to see that border at all. I want it to look really clean. So I need to mix it again with the transparent. So hopefully I do a better job this time. It doesn't take me too long. Mix shader, plug it into there. Just plug this into there for now, and then, no, this one. Like that. And what I want to do is, again, drop out the gray channel so it's just white. Now, I didn't do this as efficiently as I did last time. I didn't actually have the white background, so you'll see that it still kind of works. If I add a color, let's try doing a different way. Let's go color ramp, and then just bring this in until you start to see that detail from the light go away. See, like right there is when the detail started to disappear. And so that is the point where I would stop, and then I'm going to use this as my factor. And then this is the diffuse, right? And then I'm going to go add shader transparent, bring that in, plug it in there. And if I go to rendered mode, it's looking okay, but it's the world background color. Let's change that to white. And let maybe a gray color actually, because I want to see if I get that white effect. I don't want that. It's just yeah, it's not working as good as the curves. Add, convert, or color, RGB curves. Let's do that instead. Just turn that all the way to there. Switch back to material. Let's try the curve strategy. So I want everything white. I want to start with my curve, so everything's white, right? And then I want to back down it so that I get the detail of like that. Going to get me the detail of the gizmo only, okay? And then plug that into the factor, disconnect this, and it looks okay, but the color's wrong. But if I change it to black, there we go. So that's the gizmo, and it looks really good. I'm actually really happy. I think this turned out better than my previous light. So fake light, all caps. I don't like all caps. There we go. Next, if you have a very observant eye, you would notice that there is the line that goes from here down, right? And I need to create that too. Oh, while I'm at this, I forget. I need to use emissive shaders here. So that way when I have that, if I had that darker scene, right, it's still gonna, you're still gonna be able to see. So I'll just bring in emission shader. Plug that in instead. Well, but it's black. I don't know. Either way, it just that is stupid. I think it was diffuse originally, actually, but I don't know if it matters. So it's in rendered. It looks good. I'm just gonna forget about it. Okay, so to make the line that goes from the light to the grid, I'm just gonna use a cube and I'm gonna stretch it out, and then I'm gonna use a wireframe modifier on it. So I'm just going to click. Well, I think it's already centered, right? Because I was thoughtful enough to center that mess. So I'm going to take this cube in the middle, which is my default cube. I'm just going to shift duplicate it, and I'm going to call this locator, which is like something I wanted. That's just the name. I don't know. And then I'm gonna S Shift Z, and I'm gonna go 0.95 or wait. S Shift Z 0.05. That's what I wanted. And then SZ. Bring it up. And you see it just kind of comes in there. And I just want to scale it down even more. S Shift Z 0.1, like that. So it's just a very thin, thin rectangular prism. Super thin because I'm going to not want you to actually know this is rectangular. It's just going to be, you know, for holding up the light gizmo. Just really fun. Okay, I'm just going to make sure that this actually ends in at the origin and on top of the grid because that's the way the light gizmo thing is set up. And then I'm going to add my locator underneath fake light. And then under fake light, I'm going to, on my locator, I'm just going to assign it again that black diffuse material. Just like that. Okay, so let's look where we are with this. And that looks really good. Okay. Now, one problem is this plane is turning when I rotate around the scene. So to fix that, I can just add a restraint here, or a constraint, sorry, not restraint. That's different. I'm going to click on this plane. I'm going to go over here where we have the chain, click that chain link, and we're going to say child of, and we're going to do a child of the camera, the real camera, and we're going to only be a child of in terms of rotation. And what that should mean is that no matter where we are in our scene with our camera, that whole light thing should rotate with us. Where are you? Z is up. There we are. See, right now it's facing away. But no matter where we go, it's always facing away. So I'm just going to put my camera location in front of it. So I'm going to go here and maybe, where was it? I just want this to be, okay, maybe what I need to do is take my light, maybe take off the restraint for now, and then take my camera, and right now I'm going to place my camera at like a location 2, maybe 0 for Y, and then the Z rotation, I don't know, where does it look? It looks over there. Okay, so I'm going to rotate it 90 on the Z. Let's just, oh, it's 180. There we go. Oh no, I want it that way. There we go. So it's perfect. Okay, and then this plane, I'm going to rotate my fake light plane now. Rotate Z-axis, so looks like -90. So if I go 0 and Shift F, it's correct-ish. And then I want to move my camera so it's pointing right at the gizmo, like that. And still not quite level. Let's go and just set that Y rotation to 0. It just looks like it's rotated though. It's not. I don't understand. Weird. Okay, now that the camera and the plane are like lined up, okay, I should be able to now add that restraint or constraint. I just keep saying restraint. Child of camera and I don't know why. I guess it's, oh, because it's rotating this with that. Weird. Okay, so take that out. And then rotate Z. I do want it to rotate with it, but okay. That took a little bit of fiddling, but what you are looking for is that when you move this, the gizmo stays in front of you, right? And I'm gonna have it so you can zoom in on the gizmo because that's kind of fun. That you can come up to the light gizmo and move through it. Okay. Okay, so that's done. So just to summarize what I did for this fake light thing, I had to do a constraint there to make it look right. So I'm gonna have to cut this video and put these two together. So this is part one. In the next video, because I have everything here, I believe I have everything ready to start to render this thing and to make it a 360 photo. So I'm gonna do that next. I gotta handle some work, and I'll be right back with part two, and I'll see you there.